Alrighty, so now we are recording and we're going to start to go through Canva. So I'm going to see this kind of as like a little quick Canva course, if you will, a little Canva crash course, really, because that's what it is. Canva, and I'll put this in the chat here for you. Canva is one of the main tools that we use to edit. It's not the only one, but it's by far become the most essential thing that we've been working with recently. And it's because it includes everything that we need right here in one place. I might be having some signal issues out of the blue, or Chrome might be having some issues. Let's see if it recovers. Okay. All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good. All right, I think the screen might have cut out, so we're back now. All right, let me see if I could close out anything that I don't need open.
Yeah, I'm looking at the screen right now. I can see it.
Okay, good. All right, so Canva can do pretty much about anything. I mean, you get not just social media posts, you can design print, you know, like billboards even, or something small to large, you can design here. It is a comprehensive designing site. It's not just for social media, but obviously as a social media agency, that's mostly what we use it for. Okay, so anything that you want, you could go and you could search the site. If you were on your own Canva site, you're not going to see all these recent designs, obviously. It would be, you know, just this here. You could scroll through and pick out the style of post that you want, or, and this is what I do because it's just easier, I just go right to the search bar and I search what I'm looking for. So if we want to start out small and simple, we're going to do a photo post. Because a video, right, there's slides, there's things that are moving, it's several minutes long. A photo post is something you should be able to look at in a couple seconds, get the information you need. They're not as powerful as they used to be, right, because everything's reels and video, but photo posts still serve a purpose. In our case, or in your case, you're learning how to edit. And I highly encourage you to learn how to edit a photo post before you start jumping into videos and reels, even though you're probably in the long run going to edit more of those, because it all starts out with learning that baseline, which is a still image, how to edit a still image. And I'm not talking about taking a photo and putting a logo on it, which we could go over. That's simple, and that's called watermarking. Watermarking will be a part of the photo editing that you're doing, but it's just one small part of it. Let's open up, let's go to Instagram photo. And we're gonna say, actually, let's go to just type in Instagram. So we type in Instagram, we're gonna say Instagram post square. Now, why am I choosing that? So if I'm looking for a standard form, not the only one, but a standard format, for a photo post, I want to go with Instagram because Instagram is the average size. Some might allow for larger size posts. Nothing's going to be smaller than Instagram. So it gives me a good baseline. If I post, or if I take a photo post that's edited from the Instagram template here, I know it's going to also go on Facebook. I know I could also put it on LinkedIn. I know that I could put it on any other site because it is the average size for a photo post. Whereas if I had something larger, Instagram might not let me post it, or it might tell me you have to crop it in order to post it on our site. And then if I crop it, I may have to remove certain elements from it. It might look off, you know? So that's why we choose this. And it's 1080 by 1080 is the ideal size. Okay. So 1080 by 1080 is the ideal post size. So while we're going through things, you're gonna see me like type in some notes sometimes. That's to kind of reinforce some of these things that we're talking about. And and I'm assuming you're going to have to do some editing on your own or watch some videos about it outside of this video that we're recording here now, just because there's only so much you're going to learn. Even if I gave you lessons every single day, there's always going to be something new to learn. Even with me, I've been doing, like I said, I've been doing this for over 10 years. I'm still learning new ways to edit content and little things all the time. So when you do your studies, that my suggestion is when something new comes up and you notice, like Instagram size, it says is 1080 by 1080, and you think, okay, that's interesting. I would have a piece of paper or an online document or something to write down notes, because you'll be happy you did it later. Then it'll probably not only sink into your brain easier because you're saying it out loud, 1080 by 1080, and you're typing it in and you see it on the screen, right? When you go in that drop down menu where it says Instagram. So it's 3 different ways. It's like reminding your brain on how to do that. So just the act of doing that helps you remember more. But if it doesn't, for whatever reason, if you have it online, you could search in your Google Drive and say, hey, there was something about Instagram size. I don't remember what it was. I know I had some document there, and then boom, that should be able to come up on your notes, and then you have your answer. That's assuming you're not going to just go to Google and ask it, but there's a million ways to do this. I don't like to say there's more than one way to skin a cat, but that's the way of looking at it. All right, so we're going to call this test post. Okay, just for right now. If you were doing this for a client, I would say you would probably put their client name and put what kind of post it is, XYZ client happy Halloween post for 2023. I always title things. I don't leave anything untitled. That way, when I'm on the front page, I could scan and I could find whatever it is I need. And these things are important because before you start editing and this and that, let me drag in these elements and make this. Oh, does this need a different color? You need to first understand how these things work. You need to first understand proper ways to name these files, because social media is all about what's new. So you're going to continue to edit. And as fast as you edit is as fast as this stuff needs to go out. I mean, if you post once or twice a day now, that's not what it used to be. Now that's no big deal. Everybody's doing that. So you may have 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 posts a month that you're doing for an account or yourself, right? You always want to lead by example. So if you're editing posts for other people, you're going to post yours too. With all those different posts, you don't want to get confused what's what. You want to make sure that you have an easy way to categorize it that makes sense and that's easy to understand. And that cannot be understated, because I did not do that. I did not do that for years. I did not have proper identifications for these posts and everything. And it did get chaotic after a while. The business grows, you want it to grow, and it's like, oh my God, how am I going to reorganize this stuff? So when we were on different systems, that was a problem starting on Canva anew. Named everything and we're good. But that's just something to keep in mind, because you could just easily skip that, forget that, start editing and really enjoy the process, but later on feel very frustrated because you don't know where things are. Okay. So let's talk about making a holiday post, because also that came up, right, as an example. Halloween is in October at the time that we're filming this. It's a little over a month away. So it makes sense. And we can edit it kind of like what we're doing it for our company, for COSMarketing Agency, because I don't have a happy Halloween post yet. So I went to the design section. The design section, when I'm posting something new, is my home, because I can take existing elements from the post and change it around rather than doing it from scratch. So it's going to save me time. And a lot of these preset posts, as you can see, most of them are pretty much good to go. The main differences are going to be incorporating the things that involve the individual brand. Stuff that it's not going to have, obviously, in a template, right? So I'm going to go to Happy Halloween. I'm going to click on this one. I chose this one because there's a lot of good ones. I chose this one because it has a bluish kind of color scheme. And on our website, right? We have a bunch of blues here. Like if you go to probably the main page, there's lots of like blues, purples, golds, stuff like that. So it incorporates more with our natural color scheme. I don't have to go through each thing and change all the colors. Now I'm going to show you how to do that next time, but for time's sake, this makes the most sense. So we basically have a fully formed post here. Now I would normally go in and change the text almost completely, but because it's a Halloween thing, it can look a little like weird and eccentric. That's kind of the point. So I'm okay with the text being like that. This though, this here and this here should be more branded to us because it's not the, Halloween thing. It's the words around it, which needs to be easy to see. It can't all be that Halloween writing because it might be hard to see. So this one has it defaulted as pop-ins. There's so many different types of fonts. I'm not going to get into each type because we'd be here all day. And they add things on Canva. That's the thing, is if you bought Canva for the year today, a week or two from now, there's going to be hundreds of new options. They're constantly updating this. Okay, so all these things you see here at the time we're filming, there could be more. For our company, for our marketing company, we have a brand kit, which means all you have to do, if you are on this account, all you'd have to do is go here and pick one of the fonts we have in our brand kit, which, by the way, the system knows based on our logo what those fonts should be, and it makes suggestions when you set up a brand kit. We could talk about that another time. Also, because whatever you're editing for us or our clients are probably going to have a brand kit set up because we've probably already edited for them before. But eventually we'll talk about that. It's a way to kind of organize things so you don't have to search through a font or say, oh, it's not in the recommended or frequently used. Which font did I use? And you want to eyeball it then. Eyeballing a font is hard because a lot of them look alike, to be completely honest, to the untrained eye. But in our case, Leak Spartan is mostly the one we use. These few we don't use as much. I like this one because it's bold, but easy to see. So I'm going to choose this one. Then I'm going to go to not change all. So if I went to change all, it would change everything. Actually, it worked. So this here, you know what that tells me? I did change all. That changed, but that didn't. This looks like text, right? To me, it looks like text. Actually, when I click on it, I realize it's an image because it says edit image, right? It's not going to pop up unless it's an image, not a text. So now I know that's actually a graphic design, which could be found in elements. So if I type in Halloween, maybe it'll come up, or maybe this is a special one for the template. I don't know. I go to graphics. Actually, let me type in Happy Halloween because that's what it says here. It's Happy Halloween. So Halloween will come up with other stuff. I'm just curious if we see something like that so I could show you. There's a lot of ones that are similar. There's some that are similar enough. But you can kind of see it looks a lot like one of these elements. And we could drag in any one of these and use it, on here. But for the purposes of this, I'm gonna leave it like that. So I'm sure if we scroll down far enough, we're gonna see this particular Halloween thing there. But yeah, the elements is where you go to add the little graphics that can go on top of the photos. Again, I go to design and I use the template first and then bring in other things and alter it. Okay, and this is really simple. Like another template may just have the overall like shape and look, but you may have to change all the colors. You may have to change all of the elements, meaning the little pictures and doodads on top of it. You may need to change everything except for just the overall layout. It really just depends. But for the most part, you can find everything that you need for the design to work off of. For the photo posts, videos are harder because you're trying to convey multiple different types of things and emotions in one video. The photo post should not take you quite as long. Case in point, I can edit like 10 photo posts in the same time I can edit one video. It's just different. Okay, so I'm going to go to our folder. We have different folders here for different clients. Frequent folders. There's more, but it's only going to show you certain ones that are more frequent. So in our case, I have quite a lot of photos in here, so you have to do a lot of scrolling down to the bottom. Um, it also gives you the ability to search through photos, but it's based on the name of the photos.
Mhm.
I did not take that into account when I uploaded a lot of these. So a lot of them have just generic names like numbers and letters and stuff. But that's something to keep in mind. If you name your photos, then you could go in and say Halloween, and Halloween photos will come up.
Mhm.
You know, just more ways. The more ways you can stay organized in general in your life, but especially when it comes to editing or anything marketing, the more organized you can be, the more time you're going to save. And time is the one thing you can't get back. So I'm always going to show you how to do things more efficiently with your time. All right, so I just dragged this in. This is called a PNG. It does not have any back to it. It's a PNG. It's meant to layer. This logo is meant to layer on top of other things. Now I'm going to simply put this in the corner.
Mhm.
And now I'm going to look at this. Happy Halloween. That's fine. May the night full of joy and magic color your day. That doesn't sound like happy Halloween to me. Just say happy Halloween. Enjoy your spooky day with friends and family. Just something kind of generic. It's like we're not reinventing the wheel here. I'm going to put friends and family on another line. And I'm going to make this a tad bit bigger, a little bit smaller. That's good the way it is. And I have a post. I'm going to call this COS Marketing Agency Halloween 2023 photo post. Now, even for holidays, I'll usually make reels or videos, but in this case, it made sense just to make a photo post, and I think it's fine. So, but what I'm noticing here is that the F and the Y kind of looks like it's almost touching, if you can see it, because the Y comes down and the F goes up, and it's not just because of the font. It's just when a Y and an F is like that, that's going to happen. So I want to make more. I want to keep the text, but I want to make more space in between. So I'm going to go to spacing right here to the left of effects. Okay, so I can see that it's pretty close together by default. So I'm going to go and move it more to the right, which moves it down slightly. But that's all I need, just so that it separates the Y and the F. I'm not trying to have it go from here to here. So I think that's perfect the way it is. It's easy to see, gets the job done. What I think I might do here, if anything, actually probably not. Let's see here. Let's go shift. If I click on it, shift. To click on this at the same time, I'm also clicking, I'm holding shift and then holding it together, which I could group it together then. And now this is one element. Now whatever I do one, I'm doing to the other. Okay, let me show you that again. Let me go back. All right. So I'm clicking on the pumpkin. What I want to do is I want to make the two pumpkins a little brighter, because it's fading into this black thing. And I understand it's Halloween, but I want this to be a little bit more prominent because I think it's cool looking. So I clicked on it. Let me click somewhere else. Click on it. It has a box around it. Now I'm going to press shift on my keyboard. You can't see I'm doing it, but I'm clicking shift on my keyboard. And now I'm clicking the second one, the second little jack-o'-lantern thing.
Okay.
This pops up. I could duplicate it. I could delete them. I could do all kinds of stuff. I'm going to click on group. I'm now grouping them together. Now the both of these have become one element. Okay.
Yeah, it's easier for you.
So I could take this and I can move it around wherever I want in the sky, whatever, which would be weird. All right. So I'm going to go back. And then I'm going to say edit image. Now it's going to edit the both of them. Okay. And I could go here and I can edit it however I want with any of these, like filters or what have you. But what I want to do, let's see here, I want to just change. Let's do this actually. Made it a little bit lighter, not much. See here? Little bit lighter. You're not going to see much of a difference. Okay. So there's usually a way to make something brighter. When you go to edit image, there's usually a way to make something brighter. Let's see here, edit image. I'm not seeing that as an option. It might be of these particular elements, you can't make them brighter. So like this, you could still do the effects. Kind of do like a cool little thing like that. I'm not going to do that this time. So let's do this. See how that kind of makes it transparent?
Mm-hmm.
Which kind of makes it look a little bit lighter, but if I did that, I'd have to do that here, I think. We're going to group them together.
Okay.
And we're going to make it a little tiny bit transparent. I would say like just ever so slightly. And I think that tiny difference makes it a little bit easier to see. Okay, and what's the point of transparency? Really, it's so that something looks like it's a little bit more faded. Realistic examples that just pop into my head of why you would want to make something transparent might be, let's say you want to kind of like have a logo look more like a watermark, right? Where it's there, but it's not prominent like this. And I know this is in the corner, but like when you look at the post, you see the jack-o'-lantern Halloween and your eyes go here because this is like a big logo. But if this was more transparent, then it would kind of be a little bit more like a watermark or like an anecdote. Like it's there, but it's not really there. I want this to be full screen in living color because it's the only thing in this post that shows it's from our company, right? But it kind of gives you an idea. And I just showed you like 0.01% of what you could do.
I understand.
With Canva. I mean,
And
there's
I
just
can
so many
practice even, yeah.
Yeah. So that's all the time that we actually went a little bit over, but I didn't want to stop like at a weird point. Other things we could go into besides like obvious stuff like videos and reels we haven't done yet. I want to go through the rest of the features, right, of like all these different things that you see here. I want to go through them, how they work, each individual element, the stuff that comes up. You can actually even take this photo post and you can add elements to it that will turn it into a video.
Oh, I didn't know.
Right. But keep in mind, right, when we have clients, they're paying us for a certain amount of photo posts, a certain amount of video posts. So some things, you know, when you're going into it, you have to know, like, is this one of those photo posts? Is this a video post? But if you wanted to, and you knew, okay, this is eventually going to be a video, you could technically start out with a design meant for a photo, and you could turn it into a video if you wanted to. You could add in animated elements and turn that into some kind of a reel. Now, I prefer knowing that I'm going into it, doing that reel, and using the template specifically for reels or videos or whatever it is. I prefer to do that. But there have been some times in the moment where I'm like, you know what, it makes sense for this to move or to do this. And then I'll do that. It gives you unlimited options. Really, the only limitation is just with knowing how to use it or where these things are. And they do have libraries of information, educational sections that you can utilize in case studies and things like that. So you don't even have to go off site or necessarily watch videos like what we're doing or spend time one-on-one. It's helpful. I'm going to do that. I'm not saying that. But even if you didn't have those resources, they give you built-in resources for free to teach you some of these things. But the best way really is to learn by doing, I think. Like that's okay, so I'm done with this post. I could fiddle with it if I wanted to. I don't think I need to. It's a Halloween post. I think it's pretty straightforward. So I went to share.
Okay.
Now I'm going to go to download. I want to do it as a JPEG because this is going to be on social media. I don't want a transparent background. It's not going to be on top of something else or in a brochure. It's going to be for social media. So it's going to be a JPEG, JPG. That's what a JPEG is. 1080 by 1080. It's sized correctly, so that's fine. Then I'm going to turn it into a medium file size. That way it doesn't take forever to load, or Instagram doesn't say, oh, it's too big. It's a perfect medium size. So I'm going to click download. And as soon as it downloads, it's going to go into, which is quick because I have quick internet. If you have slow internet, it might take a few minutes, but photo posts are usually pretty quick. Now download it in here and we're good. That thing. So, as you can see, it's the right size. It still looks super clear. When it goes on social media, it should look close to this. Anytime you post something on social media, it's going to slightly degrade it just a little bit, but it's
I don't know why.
comparable to this.
I don't know why it happens with the photos. When you post some videos or something, like lose the quality, you know what I mean?
The quality will go down slightly anytime you take something from one place and you transfer it to another. Not just social media, but social media in general is notorious for that. And the reason being is because they have very active servers. And therefore, if you make a post that's 4K or high quality, they can't possibly post it at the same quality. Their servers will be overloaded. And you can say, well, that doesn't make any sense. They have enough active people and they have millions or billions of dollars. Why don't they just get a better server? It's like, yeah, I know. You're preaching to the choir. And like none of them do it. So there's no incentive, right? It's just like people picketing for higher wages. Is like, well, if other companies aren't doing it, these companies aren't going to do it. So people are going to go back and forth and say, well, you should do this and you should do that. So, and it is what it is. But even if I'm transferring it from me to you on Google Drive, it'll still slightly degrade in quality. It's just the transferring process will do that. That doesn't mean that you never transfer files. You have to. The quality that you could do in this editing system is unmatched. So it's not like, well, it makes sense for me to just edit something in there. And no, because it's not going to be as good as what you could do in Canva, bar none. Anything that they're going to give you for free in the platform, it's obviously not going to be as good as something that you've invested in, or at least I would hope not. And in this case, it's, Canva is obviously far superior. Since we built our business on Canva, essentially, among other things, we've grown by 5 times, maybe more. I don't even know how to equate it significantly because of the quality that it's helped us achieve. Versus very good still editing tools that we use on our phone, which I sometimes still use to help fill in the gaps or to do things for my personal pages. But by and large, you're going to find Canva is good. It's for editors, right? Like how WordPress is good for website developers, Canva is good for editors and social media specialists. It's our bread and butter. And we'll go over other systems, and you're going to find, hey, I can still do that on Canva. Why am I using this other thing? It helps kind of switch it up, but that's about it. You're not going to find anything outside of Canva that's going to be more powerful necessarily until you start getting into Adobe Suite or a few other things that involve a little bit more details and coding. But the system still can do a lot of the same things. I would say Adobe would be, and something similar would be the next step up, which is $80 plus a month versus $20 a month with Canva. It's more money, and I don't think it's significantly better personally. But that's just my preference. I know a lot of people that it's Adobe or bust. And that's
how much do you pay for Canva?
Canva is only like $20 a month. I pay for the year, so I think it's like $100 for the year, something like that when you pay up front.
It's better.
$120 for the year or something. Yeah, exactly. It paid for itself in the first week. I mean, like, come on, we went through like literally less than 1% of what you can do. So there's a lot, Granted, now some of this is because, I've learned from experience and I know how to set it up so it's easier to find and to edit, but even still, even if you were ground level and you were just starting out, I think you'd get a lot of value from it. And they do have some kind of free trial. Now with you personally, obviously, I'm not expecting you to buy this. There is a free version where you can use a lot of these tools, not all of them, but any editing you would do for us, you would obviously have access to our account. So you'll have like full access to everything. But they also have a free version. So if like right now, after this meeting, you wanted to just try it out, You can edit quite a lot with the free version. You're just going to find after a while you're going to want to do more, and you're going to want the extra tools. Not that you need it, if that makes sense. Literally, you can run a business just on the free stuff. It is possible. It's not even just possible. I did it for like the first month or two, and then I'm like, what am I doing? It's just $20 a month. I'm going to buy it. You know, like, why don't I just buy it and then I just pay for the year, you know?
Yeah, because I remember that I used to use, what's the name? I think it's PowerPoint. Do you know PowerPoint?
Yes, well, and this can actually do the same thing as PowerPoint.
Yeah, I used to do it when I was in college. And I used to do videos, you know, like for presentations and things like that.
Well, and one day we could talk about how to use AI to help with presentation building too. We don't do a lot of that because we have a basic presentation, and we know like people don't really want to sit through presentations. They just want their problem solved. But they do have a place like for educational purposes like this. Like if going into this meeting, it wasn't something where you had to see it in real time and it was a little bit more cut and dry, I'd have a presentation to go through with you, and I could do it with AI, or I could go on Canva and use a template like a partial AI and fill in the gaps with it. I could absolutely do that. And they have a whiteboard section too, where I could pull it up and just draw things like a teacher would. And a lot of people use that when they're coaching people or doing exams. Like actual teachers will use that. All right, so I'm going to end the recording right now. We'll stop sharing. And if this is on YouTube and you're listening to this on YouTube, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. We could do more Canva tutorials and share it with our YouTube audience because I'm sure they'll get value from it. And it gives them insight into some of the many things that we do, and might kind of shed more light on what it's like to do what we do, and just all the possibilities you can have when it comes to design. All right.